Jesus freak here. How many of y'all as a kid would, when they're going to bed, turn on a radio, turn the volume all the way down, stick a blank tape in the tape deck, and hit record, then come back later and see what came out? That's something I used to do a lot as a kid. Back then, it was a major way for me to get new music. I still kind of sometimes like to do the same idea, but in a slightly more modern way. I have a tool on my computer called FFmpeg. And what I do is I'll try to figure out what the actual address is of a radio station's web stream. Not the page that says play live, but the actual stream that it sends to the computer. I'm doing this remote and with nothing to set this down on, so it's easier with this than it is trying to type on here. But I have to remember a few things that I tend to forget. See, one thing I can do this way, I can record from multiple channels. If I got different addresses for both of them, I can record from as many as I want at the same time. And I can say, how long do you want? I want 7,200 seconds, it's 2 hours. And I want to capture from both. I have the addresses for 2 radio stations. One is a classic hits station out of Buffalo. The other is a classic rock station out of Welland, Ontario. Classic rock, but they go well up into the aughts. I mean, it's not their focus, but once in a while they do play stuff that recent. So, I have entered in a command, and I am going to start recording for 2 hours. What did I do wrong here? Typed a curly brace instead of a parenthesis. The pains of using command line tools. There we go. And they're running. Seems to be a little glitch in the terminal emulation, but So I'll come back in 2 hours. Go through all the music I recorded and see if there's anything worth keeping. There probably will be, at least on the classic rock one. The classic hits one, that's a lot of stuff I've already got, and very rarely anything interesting pops up there. But, you know, it's something. There is another station that I sometimes like to listen to, but they're all holiday music right now, so it don't make sense to look them up. Maybe a week from now, after they're over that, see what's going on. So, killing a lot of time because it's a whole lot of nothing going on. Christmas in a week, New Year's in 2 weeks. This is something I use as much for. I sometimes use it to drink from, and sometimes I use it to cook with. It's probably one of the only multi-purpose things of that sort I have. I was like, maybe to see what they got. Probably, a few days ago, I went to the liquor store and grabbed a 4-pack of those that have one in the fridge and drank one. Yeah, know your limit, drink within it, right? I mean, the reason this is a less of a problem than like a Mike's for me, because I've gotten pickled off Mike's a few times. This is the same amount of alcohol by volume as a Mike's. The difference is it's smaller and you can put the cap back on. That's the one thing I don't like about anything in a can. Once you've opened it, it's open. You can't put the lid back on. So it's like, yeah, go flat or whatever. And that's why I sometimes slightly overindulge on a Mike's. But like, is my ability to think still there? Yeah, but I get a bit tipsy. I'm staggering around. It's also good to know, if you do drink, what happens to your behavior under the influence. Because I'm mainly a sleepy drunk, I don't see it as that big a deal to occasionally get pickled. I mean, if I were getting pickled every day, then there'd be a problem. It's like, I can go for years without a single drink. It don't matter to me. I'm not a slave to it. Some people are. And for them, it's probably best they lay off it completely. Just like, some people are fine going to, casinos and buying the occasional scratch off. I won't do that because I have a compulsion. So, like, I don't have a problem with alcohol, but I do have a problem with gambling, so I don't do it. Different strokes for different folks. I mean, some people say, it's bad to drink because, if alcohol were bad, in and of itself, as opposed to in excess. I mean, anything's bad in excess. Some things can be really bad in excess, and alcohol is one of them. Isaiah used wine metaphors positively. Paul recommended Timothy drink some occasional wine. Now, the reason for that I can explain in a minute. And then there's the whole thing at Cana. Oh, yeah, the guy who started Welch's grape juice tried to push the idea that the wine at Cana was non-alcoholic. Don't believe that for a second. The way the anecdote is described in John, there's no way that was non-alcoholic. Anyway, 2,000 years ago, we didn't really have much of a theory of disease. But back at the time, we didn't really have the ideas we needed to have to be able to purify water. So often, there'd be a lot of pathogens in water. Pathogens that don't survive in alcohol. That's why for a long time it was considered safer to drink alcohol than it was to drink water. Of course, there's all these problems are going to excess. Wine's a mocker, strong drink's a brawler, and whoever's seduced by them is not wise. I believe that's Proverbs 21. I'm well aware of that. Anyway, before I tap out the battery on this thing, Jesus, freak out.